Hello everyone, bet you didn't expect to see me, Craig Warwick here, catching that SDCC 2019 fever and snapping up the Marvel Legends 80th anniversary 2-pack of Wolverine and the Hulk for a review. Ever since this pack was announced, I've been excited to get a new Marvel Legends comic style figure of the Hulk, and this one looks great. And oh yeah, there's also this guy too. Yay. I won't patronise you by explaining who these guys are and instead dive right into the figures themselves. And let's start with the most important figure in the pack. Yup, this guy right here, because if you were looking forward to this guy more than the Hulk, then you've clearly got more important things to sort out in your life than watching a YouTube video, Brenda. This is the 7 billionth Wolverine figure in the Marvel Legends line, and the 6th to use the shorter body with the improved butterfly joints that we saw on the Juggernaut series Wolverine in 2016. 6 Wolverine figures in 3 years, not including Old Man Logan, with another 3 due out this year. That's a lot, but I appreciate that he helps get retailers on board with stocking Marvel Legends, so I'm good with that. There's enough variations in his looks that it doesn't hurt too much. This version of Wolverine is his first appearance look, when his mask was more animal inspired and had little whiskers. Cute. It's a decent figure of this look with very vibrant colours that go well with the more kitsch costume. I really like the aqua blue they've used here, but those high contrast colours make some paint app errors really jump out, such as the black lining on his boots, silver on his gloves, the blue line where his gloves meet his forearms, and the sloppy black paint on his mask. He also has a weird orangey stain on his neck which looks like he's dribbled baked beans down himself. The sculpt on this head is pretty good though. This definitely looks like a masked version of the Logan head we've been getting, which is really unfortunate because I hate that head sculpt. I don't ever remember Logan looking like that in any art. Wait, let me check. Oh wait, I'm wrong. There he is. The rest of the body is sculpted well and is pretty much the same as we've seen before. These little shoulder pads are new and I'm not a fan really. I can see they're trying to articulate them so they don't get in the way of the articulation, but they peg into a hole that's really too far from his shoulder and create this weird gap. It looks more like his bra strap has slipped down over his shoulder than anything else. Wolverine's claws have the usual Hasbro design, with each claw pegging into the back of the hand individually. They tend to be all headed in different directions right out of the box, but one of the advantages of this design is that they're easy to redirect individually with a tiny bit of force, and then if you want you can super glue them in your preferred position. That's all well and good, but these straight claws don't really look like the claws Wolverine had in his first appearance, which were very curved and more, well, claw-like rather than blade-like. I haven't reviewed a Wolverine figure in a long time, so I've not had a chance to pipe up about the sculpt on his arms. I love that they've actually given him sculpted arm hair. Wolverine being a beastly hairy guy is important to his character, so it's great that they've gone that extra kilometre. And I say kilometre because they haven't actually finished going the full extra mile by painting that sculpted hair. It turns out that unpainted sculpted arm hair just looks like he's been involved in ritual scarification and his healing factor has been on the fritz. I think they should have used the Juggernaut Wolverine arms for this guy, as they didn't have the sculpted arm hair, which would have been more true to the first appearance look anyway. Let's take a look at his articulation. Wolverine's head rotates and he can look down this much and up this much. His arms rotate at the shoulders and move up to the side this much. He also has butterfly joints in his chest that move his arms back this much and forward this much. There's rotation at the top of the bicep and a double jointed elbow, which, unfortunately due to Logan's stocky arm muscles, doesn't give him much more movement than 90 degrees. His wrists rotate and hinge up and down. His hands can be swapped out at the wrist for the sheathed claw versions, and these articulate at the wrists in exactly the same way. He has an ab crunch that leans this far forward and back. There's rotation at the waist, and his belt is a separate piece that can be slid up to better get to that articulation. His hips allow his legs to kick this far forward and just a tiny bit back. They also move this far out to the side. There's rotation at the top of the thigh, double jointed knees that bend this far, much better than his elbows. There's rotation at the top of the boot, a hinge at the ankle, and great ankle rockers. And as the legend goes, this is his widest possible stance, still with both feet flat on the floor. Bub. So that's first appearance Wolverine. He's a decent figure, but just a little bit lazy, not going the full distance to really capture that iconic look. But let's face it, no one is really here for the Wolverine figure. He's more of the literal price we have to pay to get to the main event, which is, of course, the Hulk. The last time we got a comic Hulk in Marvel Legends was the Marvel Now version we saw in the 3-pack with Vision and Ultron, but this is a more iconic, classic version of Hulk with the shaggy-haired look that's graced millions of pieces of merchandise. I don't think I'm alone when I say I've been super excited to see what Hasbro would do with a more classic version, and Hasbro didn't let me down. Well, except for one thing, but I'll get to that in a bit. Hulk looks amazing out of the box, and to my eye this sculpt is 100% new. The vibrant green they've used really pops well, and there is some lovely subtle spray of lighter green on his muscles to really highlight them. It really works very well. The paint on his torn trousers is also a nice colour, but there's no shading to help highlight the great sculpt of the cloth texture, which is a bit of a shame, but it still works really well. He has this soft plastic torn shirt draped around his shoulders, and it's really nicely sculpted with all the rips, creases, seams and pockets realised really well. There's no paint on it, but it still looks good. It's completely removable and just rests on his shoulders rather than pegging into the figure. I don't think I'll be displaying Hulk with it on, but it's a nice accessory. The original shirt size before it was torn is a bit suspect, like it must have been a 10XL or something, but that's always been one of the leaps of logic Hulk fans have had to make. He also comes with alternate hands, so all in all he has 2 fists and 2 grasping hands. It would have been nice to get alternate heads as well, but it's nice to get any kind of accessories with a big figure like this, and it's always been a point of contention among collectors whether brutish guys like this should come with fists or more gestural hands, so it's great that this figure comes with both. The head itself is really nicely sculpted, with the hair being sculpted as a separate piece and glued in place. The big bushy eyebrows are just painted on, but they're very tidy, as are his eyes and teeth. Unfortunately, the nice light green highlight that's present on the body doesn't happen on the head, with the exception of some printed detailing on the hair. Let's take a look at his articulation though. His head rotates as expected, but unlike most Marvel Legends which have a hinge in the neck, Hulk has a barbell joint, which is probably more at home on a Mattel WWE figure, but it allows him to look up this much and down this much, and to also rock his head side to side. His arms rotate at the shoulder, there's rotation at the top of the bicep, and at the bottom, well the elbow essentially, and he has single jointed elbows which bend to 90 degrees. He has rotation at the wrists, and they also hinge this far forward and back. Like Wolverine, Hulk has butterfly joints in his upper torso that allow his arms to move back this much, and here's the disappointment I talked about at the start. This butterfly joint has absolutely zero movement forward. It's functionally useless for bringing Hulk's arms closer together. I was pretty excited that this figure might finally let Hulk do his thunderclap, one of his signature moves, but Hasbro choosing not to lose a little bit of his chest sculpt to allow that has doomed that hope. I had originally thought that this would have been the point of him having the shirt accessory and it draping over the sides of his chest so that it would cover the tracks necessary for this improved articulation, but no, that's not what's happening at all. It's a puzzling design choice to go halfway like this, giving him only backwards articulation. Still, the backwards movement does open up posing options, and I'd rather have that than nothing. Anyway, moving on, Hulk has a diaphragm joint which lets him lean this far forward and back, lets him lean side to side, and he also has waist rotation. His hip joints let him kick this far forward, back a tiny bit, and this far out to the side. There's rotation at the top of the thigh, a double jointed knee that bends this far, no rotation in his mid-calf, but he of course has hinges at the ankles that move this far forward and back, and of course ankle rockers. And as the legend goes, Hulk stand widest there is with both feet flat on the floor or something, I don't know. So that's the Wolverine and Hulk 2-pack. Hulk is the obvious star of the show, and despite my gripes about his disappointing butterfly joints, he's a great figure. Is he worth the high price that comes with buying him as a 2-pack with what amounts to a filler figure? I'd say yes. Wolverine isn't a horrible figure by any means, especially if you're a fan of Wolverine and want more costumes for your display, but a little more effort on him would have made him less of a hard pill to swallow. Anyway, thank you for watching everyone. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I'm still around. In fact, every Sunday you can find me co-hosting a podcast about action figures here on YouTube called Infinite Articulation, and I'm having a ton of fun doing it. Please come check it out and join in with the conversation. If you've got some extra time now and haven't done so already, please hang around my channel, like and subscribe, and check out some of my other reviews and my customizing work. You can also see some small customs I've been tinkering around with on my Instagram, such as this Songbird resculpt. Oh, and this custom of Shadow King that I've been keeping secret from YouTube for no good reason. Anyway, wherever I see you next, always remember to pour on the power. Bye-bye.